Hi students, in the previous video we have discussed about monosaccharides. So now in this video we will discuss about disaccharides and also polysaccharides. So here the monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, galactose and mannose. So we have studied the structure of these molecules. So here is a small question whether the monosaccharides are reducing sugars or non-reducing sugars. So what is reducing sugar? So reducing sugar means any sugar which reduces Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent. Any sugar which reduces Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent is said to be reducing sugar. Whereas the sugar which does not reduces Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent is said to be non-reducing sugar. So here if the carbohydrate consists of aldehyde group, then it is said to be reducing sugar. If any carbohydrate consists of keto group, then it is said to be non-reducing sugar. So here in case of glucose, if you consider the cyclic structure of glucose, generally glucose exists in cyclic structure. So this cyclic structure of glucose does not consist of any aldehyde group or keto group. But even though it does not consist of any free aldehyde group or keto group, it is a reducing sugar. Remember carefully, it is a reducing sugar. Glucose is a reducing sugar. Why? Because, so this is a reducing sugar because upon adding the reagent, whether it is Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent, we have to heat the reagent, we have to heat the content of the mixture. So by heating, the cyclic ring will be destroyed. That means the cyclic ring will be cleaved to form free aldehyde group in the backward direction. Okay, so here from aldehyde we are adding water and removing water to form the cyclic structure. So by adding any Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent and upon heating, it will convert into open chain structure and free aldehyde group will be present here. So here since it consists of free aldehyde group, then it will be reducing sugar. So glucose is a reducing sugar. Okay, clear? And what about fructose? So in case of fructose also, in cyclic structure there is no any aldehyde group or keto group. So by adding Fehling's reagent or Tollens reagent and upon heating, it will convert into open chain structure. Okay, so in the backward direction, it will convert into open chain structure. So here in this open chain structure, it consists of ketone. Even though it consists of keto group, this will be the reducing sugar. Remember carefully, even though it consists of keto group, this will be the reducing sugar. So why it is a reducing sugar? Because, so here upon heating, during the process of reducing with Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent, so here this keto group will converted into aldehyde group. This keto group will convert into aldehyde group. Here there arises some intramolecular proton transfer by using Killian-Fischer synthesis. By using Labrie-Deep Brown, Eckenstein rearrangement. So that rearrangement is called Eckenstein rearrangement. So by using this Eckenstein rearrangement, this keto group will convert into here aldehyde group. So an aldehyde group is produced here. So that's why it is also a reducing sugar. Okay, so glucose and fructose both are reducing sugar because it consists of free aldehyde group. So even though it consists of keto group, it will be converted into aldehyde group by using this Eckenstein rearrangement. So that's why this fructose is also one of the reducing sugar. So remember, glucose and fructose are reducing sugar. And next one, this galactose and mannose, these two are also reducing sugars because these two will convert into open chain structure. That open chain also consists of aldehyde group because these are obtained from glucose only by interchanging the groups. Okay, so that consists of galactose and mannose, both will consist of free aldehyde group upon heating. So that's why these two are reducing sugars. So that means all the monosaccharides are reducing sugars. Okay, clear? So these monosaccharides are reducing sugar. So now what about this disaccharides? So disaccharides, in the previous video we have discussed sucrose, maltose and lactose. So the sucrose consists of alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. So the point of linkage is between C1 and C2. You have to remember the point of linkage and what are the monomers, that's all. And don't don't draw the structures. So because it is not asked in your objective examination, it is not important for your objective examination. So the structures. So if you are supposed to write the structures are like this only, and the point of linkage is between two molecules. So let us consider only for sucrose. So the structure is, the point of attachment will be between C1 and C2. So and whether it is reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar, we have to check it. So now let us draw the structure of sucrose to understand whether it is reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar. So here it is sucrose. So in case of sucrose, the point of linkage is between C1 and C2 only. C1 and C2. C1 of alpha D glucose and C2 of beta D fructose. Okay. So here the alpha D glucose, it is like this. See here H and OH will be there, and here H and OH. So it exists in cis form. This is alpha OH and H, here OH and H, and here H and CH2OH. So this is alpha D glucose. So like this, alpha D glucose. So the structure is this one. Okay, this is alpha D glucose. And next beta D fructose. So in case of beta D fructose, this is beta D fructose, beta D fructose. So this beta D fructose, there should be point of linkage between C1. Here C1 means this one. This is first carbon for C1, and in case of beta D glucose, C2. So here C2 is this one. So in order to get the point of linkage nearer to this one, C1, we have to invert this molecule. That means we have to reverse this molecule like this. So this molecule is like this. We have to reverse this molecule. So that means this group will present here. So whenever the molecule is reversed, the above plane molecule, above plane groups will comes into below plane groups, and below plane groups comes into above the plane. Okay, here OH is present at the above the plane and H is present at the below the plane. So if you invert this molecule, then OH will become below the plane and hydrogen become above the plane. So we have to invert like this. Okay, so by interchanging that we get like this. So this is 5-membered ring. So here it is, and here we get CH2OH. Okay, CH2OH here and OH here. So we have to reverse this. So then H and OH, here OH and H, H and CH2OH. So like this. So this is alpha D glucose, this is beta D fructose. So from these two we have to remove water molecule. Okay, so disaccharide means sucrose. What is the formula of sucrose? C12H22O11. So this is obtained by the combination of 2 moles of, that is 1 glucose C6H12O6, other one is fructose C6H12O6. So by combining these two we get C12H22O11 with the loss of 1 water molecule. So that's why we have to remove water molecule. So here it is second carbon C2. This is first one, second, 3, 4, 5 and sixth one. Okay, so the point of linkage should be between first and second carbon. So that's why the water should be removed from this one. So then we get the structure like this. H. The remaining groups are same, only just we have to remove the water only. CH2OH. So by removing water we get 1 oxygen linkage. So here 1 oxygen linkage will be there. So this is CH2OH, H and CH2OH, H and OH. So this is, so this linkage is called glycosidic linkage. So this linkage is called glycosidic linkage. So in case of sucrose, the glycosidic linkage is present between which of the following carbons? Between C1 of glucose and C2 of beta D fructose. Okay, clear? So this linkage is called glycosidic linkage. Okay, so now we have to check whether it is reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar. So here the glucose exists in alpha form and fructose exists in beta form. So these two are combined to form a glycosidic linkage. So this glycosidic linkage is more stable. So whether you are heating the sucrose, the glycosidic linkage will not break. That means they does not consist of any free aldehyde group or keto group. So that's why sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Remember carefully, sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Even though it consists of one glucose and one fructose moiety, this is a non-reducing sugar. Okay, this sucrose is a non-reducing sugar because it does not consist of any free aldehyde group or keto group. Suppose here it is sucrose. Sucrose upon hydrolysis produces, remember carefully, sucrose upon hydrolysis it produces glucose and fructose. So this process is called inversion. So sucrose is nothing but cane sugar. It is called cane sugar since it is obtained from sugarcane juice. We get sucrose. From sugarcane juice we get sucrose. That's why it is called cane sugar. So here we are inverting the sucrose. So sucrose is a non-reducing, but upon hydrolysis it gets glucose and fructose. So glucose is a reducing sugar and fructose is also reducing sugar, but sucrose is non-reducing sugar. So here the non-reducing sugar will convert into reducing sugar. So here we are inverting. So that's why it is called inversion of cane sugar. So this process is called inversion of cane sugar. Remember carefully. So sometimes he asked the process of conversion of sucrose to glucose and fructose is called inversion. That is inversion of cane sugar. So sucrose is a non-reducing sugar, whereas glucose and fructose are the reducing sugars. Okay. Sucrose is non-reducing sugar. Now let us move on to the next disaccharide, that is maltose and lactose. So this maltose is obtained by the combination of alpha D glucose and alpha D glucose. Both are glucose units. So both glucose units are combined by glycosidic linkage at C1 and C4. So by combining at C1 and C4, here it is C1 and it is C4. If it is, suppose here it is alpha. So here we have to consider both are alpha. Here it is alpha. Here if it is also alpha. What is the difference? If it is also alpha, then here the difference is between at the first carbon. So here it should be H and it should be OH. Okay, I am changing this in the structure, OH and H. So here the first carbon and the fourth carbon, alpha and the fourth carbon of alpha D glucose. So then a glycosidic linkage is present between OH and OH. Okay, so here the glycosidic linkage is present between first and fourth carbon. So here there is a free aldehyde group. So here it will again come back as aldehyde group. Okay, clear? So this first carbon is free. It does not involve in glycosidic linkage. But in case of sucrose, this second carbon, this involves in glycosidic linkage. Sucrose. In case of sucrose, the fructose involves in glycosidic linkage here. So that's why there is no free keto group or aldehyde group. That's why it is a non-reducing sugar. So here it can exist as free aldehyde group. Here the glycosidic linkage is present between first and fourth carbon. So it exists as free aldehyde group. So that's why it is a reducing sugar. Remember carefully, this is a reducing sugar. Maltose is a reducing sugar. Sucrose is non-reducing sugar, whereas maltose and lactose both are reducing sugars. Remember carefully, maltose and lactose both are reducing sugars because the C1 and C4, the linkage, the N-glycosidic linkage is present between, glycosidic linkage is present between C1 and C4 only. So that's why these two are reducing sugars. Okay, clear? And next one, polysaccharides. Let us move on to polysaccharides. So here mainly we are focusing on two polysaccharides. One is starch, other one is cellulose. So starch. So the first one is starch. So starch is a polysaccharide which consists of many number of monomer units. So what are the monomer units present in starch? So starch consists of mainly starch. Upon hydrolysis it produces, one is amylose and amylopectin. It consists of amylose and amylopectin. So this amylose is generally water soluble. This is not water soluble. This is water insoluble. So this amylose is water soluble. Water soluble, whereas it is water insoluble. And the starch consists of these two units. So the 15 to 20% of starch consists of amylose, whereas 80 to 85% of amylopectin is present in starch. Okay. So in case of amylose, this amylase is a straight chain molecule which consists of all monomer units alpha D glucose. Remember carefully, amylose consists of alpha D glucose units. All are alpha D glucose units. So these alpha D glucose units are joined together at C1 and C4. So there exists C1-C4 glycosidic linkage will be there. In case of amylose, it is a straight chain molecule which consists of C1-C4 linkage of alpha D glucose molecules. Okay, clear? And in case of amylopectin, it has some branching. So here it also exists as a straight chain molecule and some branches will be there. So the straight chain molecule is from alpha D glucose only. So the alpha D glucose, the straight chain molecule is formed by linkage of C1 and C4. But the branching takes place by C1 to C6. So branching takes place at C1 to C6 linkage. Okay. So here the branching takes place at C1 to C4. So all consists of glucose units. So in case of amylose, there exists a straight chain molecule consisting of alpha D glucose. The point of linkage is between C1 and C4. In case of amylopectin, there exists some branches. In case of straight chain molecule, there exists C1-C4 linkage of alpha D glucose units. This is C1-C4 linkage of alpha D glucose units, and there exists some branching at C6 carbon. So C1 to C6. Here it is C1, C4 and C6. So C6 of the another alpha D glucose. There exists branching between C1 to C6. Okay. So you have to remember these points. And next one, cellulose. Cellulose. So cellulose also one of the polymer, that is polysaccharide, which consists of beta D glucose units. Beta D glucose. Here it consists of alpha D glucose. Remember carefully. Here in case of starch there exists alpha D glucose units, but in case of cellulose there exists beta D glucose units, and the point of linkage is again between C1 and C4 only. Here also C1 and C4 in case of starch. Here also there exists C1-C4 linkage. Okay. So cellulose. So this is also one of the polysaccharide. So all the monomer units are beta D glucose. Okay, remember carefully. You have to remember all these. Okay. Here is another polysaccharide, that is glycogen. So this glycogen also consists of, this is mainly present in human beings. And this glycogen is also consists of this amylopectin units. This is more branched. Amylopectin is generally branched molecule at branching at C1 and C1 and C6. This glycogen also consists of some more branchings. It is highly branched than amylopectin. So this also consists of alpha D glucose units at C1 and C4. So but branching will be more. So in case of human beings, it exists as, the carbohydrate exists as glycogen. So glycogen present in human beings. So sometimes if you need some carbohydrates or glucose, if you need some glucose, this glycogen will break down into glucose moieties. Okay, glycogen will break down into glucose moieties. So in this way human beings can survive with glucose. Okay. So during the metabolic process, some enzymes will be released in our human body. So in presence of those enzymes, so this glycogen can break down into glucose moieties. So in presence of certain enzymes, this glycogen will break down into glucose molecules. So that glucose molecules is useful for human beings for giving some energy. Okay, so this glycogen is also present in some yeast and fungi materials. So some fungus or yeast, some molds are there. So in those molds also this glycogen is present. So here you have to remember glycogen is also exist as branching molecule. So it is just like amylopectin. Okay, thank you. Like the session, share the session and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. And here is a small question for you. So please answer me in comment box. So does starch is a reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar? So answer me in comment box. Does starch is a reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar? Thank you.